In the North Bay, voters will have a say on Measure J, which focuses on animal farming. Crown 4's Terisa Estacio talks to supporters and opponents of the measure.
So it's a whole ecosystem that everybody is connected to.
Dana Ghirardelli is talking about Measure J, the controversial farming measure before the county's nearly 500,000 residents on Election Day.
And I want to make clear that it's really just based on animal numbers. There's no merit that goes with it. So there's total disregard for how many acres that these animals graze on. There's disregard of if they are organic.
Ghirardelli is executive director of the Sonoma County Farm Bureau. They are against Measure J, along with the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors, several cities, dozens of family farms, and well-known companies such as Clover, Sonoma, and Strauss Family Creamery.
We don't get a day off. The farmers don't get a day off. It is a family operation, but at the end of the day, there's a disconnect between a lot of our consumers and where their food comes from.
The measure listed on the ballot in Sonoma County deals with whether the county code should be amended to prohibit farms and other animal production operations that meet the definition of a concentrated animal feeding operation, or CAFO, as defined by federal regulations. The rules of CAFO vary depending on the type of animal. If passed, it would phase out these farms within a 3-year period, or they would face penalties and fines. Those against Measure J say it is fundamentally misguided. They say farms are highly regulated by federal, state, and local agencies, adding that they have spot inspections and must adhere to rigorous water compliance standards.
The measure as it's written and what it aims to do does not do anything, does not change the standard, does not elevate anything from an animal welfare perspective or an environmental perspective.
Obviously, for animals who are living inside of factory farms, their lives are in peril. And so these facilities cause tremendous harm to all of us.
Cassie King is with Direct Action Everywhere, who helped get the measure on the ballot. Other supporters include Californians for Alternatives to Toxics and the Animal Legal Defense Fund and California River Watch.
Well, factory farms are exacerbating some of the biggest crises that we're facing today. They're polluting the water.
King says that the measure is a first of its kind in the nation and hopes if it passes, it will have widespread traction.
We want to end factory farming everywhere because it's a global issue. Our health is connected, our environment is connected. These companies that are putting all of us at risk.
A county budget analysis states that the measure does have broad financial consequences, either forcing farms to downsize or close altogether.
And they don't deserve what's being said about them.
In Petaluma, many residents didn't want to comment on the measure, but a few did.
Outsiders that have come in not being completely honest because they don't know our town. This is their first time here, most of them, and they're talking about things that they know nothing about.
And here are some other financial aspects if the measure passes. Now, the Sonoma County tax collector says that the measure, if passed, would create an agriculture commission division that would oversee farming, and it would cost annually $1.6 million. In addition, the Sonoma County Human Services Department estimates that it will incur $1.5 million to retrain everyone who loses jobs if the measure passes. In the newsroom, Terisa Estacio, Crown 4 News.